Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Paranormal Monday. Yay! Also forgot to mention on the last video when I went back to do that first EVP session, about 20 minutes after I'd arrived back at my old house across the street from my grandparents, I had this thing up here on my neck that almost looked like a bite mark. And I had no idea, no way to explain it other than the fact that I knew there was something in my grandparents' house that didn't like me. At this point, of course, we didn't know that the little boy was there and that there was some good and some bad spirits in the house. But anyway, fast forward to March of 2011, and I decided it was time to do another lockdown. After discovering that we'd made contact with this little boy that was obviously a spirit in my grandparents' house, I had to do more. So we decided to do another major lockdown, take lots of pictures, do lots of voice recordings. My grandparents were actually moving into an assisted living place at the time, and their house was being cleared out for auction, so this was the perfect time to get this done because the house was empty. My grandparents weren't living there, so we didn't have to be like, oh, well, we're just like hanging out at your house after dark after you go to bed. You know, it's all cool. In this lockdown, of course, it was Chris, Jamie, my other brother, Shayna, and myself, and we all had the lights off. We were all getting ready to go down into the basement because that's where we had the most success the last time. So right before we were about to go downstairs, I decided, hey, I'm going to use the bathroom before we go down and get started because I got to pee. And so I guess it missed their attention that I was going to the bathroom, so everyone else started to head downstairs. And they heard footsteps on the stairs in front of them going down. And they're like, Shannon, did she already go downstairs without us? And then they realize I wasn't with them anymore, and they start to get freaked out, and they back up, and I come out of the bathroom like, what are you guys doing? Why do you look so freaked out? And so then they told me that, hey, you know, we heard footsteps on the stairs going down in front of us, and we thought it was you, but you didn't answer us. I was like, okay, we need to get down there now because obviously stuff is happening. So we all get downstairs. Like I said in the last video, their basement is huge. So Chris and Jamie and I think my other brother were sitting over off in the right part, and then there was like kind of a wall partition, not a wall, but separating us, and Shayna and I were in this other part. I start rolling on my digital recorder, and to this day it makes me very sad because all the EVPs I captured that night no longer exist because of a computer malfunction or something I cannot explain. But when I went to transfer the files from the digital recorder to the computer, they were just completely lost, just gone. And it makes me so sad because we got some awesome EVPs that night. So we're down in the basement, we're doing this EVP session, and we were rolling on 2 different digital recorders, and it was only captured on one, which is good proof because it's not a contamination or anything like that. It was the spirit speaking directly to that digital recorder, and you can hear it in the room. So my brother, or Chris, said that if there's a spirit here that would like to contact one of us, or if it feels like there's one of us that's more open to communicating with you, you should come and communicate right now. And on the digital recorder you can hear this woman say, "Help me." And I remember hearing that for the first time, and I broke down crying because the desperation in her voice was just so much that it overwhelmed me, and yeah, it was pretty sad. So we got done down in the basement, and after Jamie and Chris split off, Shayna actually left too, and my mom joined my brother and I. And so my mom and my brother went into my grandparents' room, was just at the far end of the house, and I took the room that was closest to the front door in the house, and there was still a bed in that room because they hadn't cleared it out yet. And so I remember I was laying on the bed in pitch black with my digital recorder, and I was just talking, trying to communicate, and all of a sudden I look at the foot of the bed and I can see there's a dark figure pacing back and forth at the end of the bed, just looking at me. I mean, I can't see its eyes or anything like that. It was just a dark figure in this black room. And I mean, if you stay in a dark room long enough, you can still kind of make out details, and when a shadow moves, you can see it. And so this, I mean, I could feel it radiating just hatred, and it did not want me in that room. But I kept my cool, and I kept trying to communicate, and nothing on the recorder or anything. But eventually I just said, I'm going to get up and I'm going to leave now, and you're not going to follow me. So I got up and I left the room, and I walked, I will admit, rather fast towards my brother and my mom, and I got them and said, why don't we head upstairs now to the big open playroom and bedroom that's up there. So we get upstairs and we're doing some digital recorder work, we're taking pictures, and that's when we captured this picture. Now, I wish I could emphasize or show you guys in person the picture, because the more you look at the picture, the more faces you can begin to see in the picture. But mainly, you can just see the face of the old man in the window, and it's just so clear. And that is probably my favorite picture I've ever taken, because it is just the best paranormal picture I have in my collection. And I mean, you can see, like, this is the top floor of a 3-story house, so it's not someone on the other side of the window. And yeah, the angle that we took the picture at is all wrong for it to be one of us, and obviously none of us there were old men, so that didn't quite pan out. So then, I believe shortly after that picture was taken, 3 of us were standing kind of in a circle, as much as 3 people can stand in a circle. And I just remember talking to the room, you know, trying to communicate. And all of a sudden I look up and I see my brother move. And then I realize my brother is still standing there. And there's this other figure that stepped out beside him, like it was standing behind him and it stepped out beside him. And I don't know why it caught me so off guard, because I'd been staring at that figure in the bedroom down below when I'd been laying in bed. But it knocked the wind out of me. Like, I bent over and I was like, I need a minute, I need to catch my breath. And like, I told my mom and my brother what I had just seen, and of course by the time that I bent over and gasped, he was gone. The figure was gone. And so, yeah, it was a pretty intense experience. So during that upstairs session, we also caught 2 more EVPs of the same little boy in the video from last time. And I can guarantee you it was the same little boy. The voice was exactly the same. It wasn't... It's weird to describe, but the vocal tones were exactly the same. It was like if you record my voice and play it back 2 different times, you would know it was me talking. And we caught the little boy asking what, because I think my brother had asked a question, and then I went and sat on the bed that's in the actual bedroom, and I was asking, you know, is anyone here? And if you want to talk to us, please talk to us. And my digital recorder picked up this little boy's voice, and it said the arrangement was, and then right at that moment my brother called my name from the other room, and it cut off what he was going to say, and the EVP ended. And I really wish I had those EVPs to share with you guys, because it was just, they're so powerful. And yeah. So, yeah, there have been some stuff that happens in my grandparents' house that was very, very visual. Nothing physical except for that mark that appeared on my neck that almost looked like a bite or whatever. But yeah, nothing ever really physical happened, but definitely full-on manifestations, or I can't think of the word, but apparitions. So then one thing, like I said, the more you let in, the more is going to come in, and not all spirits are directly tethered to the spot that they haunt. Some things can follow you. And I learned this the hard way because after the huge lockdown where I saw so much and felt so much and got so many EVPs, we came home back to Wyoming. And I want to say a day later, I went back to work, and I went pretty early in the morning, probably 9 o'clock in the morning. And I said goodbye to Shayna. She was still in bed, like trying to sleep. And I left, and she said that a little while after I left, she was laying in bed, and you have to understand, if you've watched my videos enough, that you understand that where Shayna's room was, there's a long hallway from the living room to Shayna's bedroom, and my studio is between those two. And she said she was laying in bed, and Shayna sleeps with her door open, which is crazy to me. I have to sleep with my door closed. She was laying there, and all of a sudden she heard footsteps coming down the hallway. And she said she couldn't really explain why, if it was out of fear or whatever, but she turned her back on the door and faced her wall. And she said the footsteps stopped at her doorway, and she could feel someone or something looking at her. And she just stayed like that, and after a few minutes it went away. And that was the only thing that happened after our visit of significance. But like I said, things can follow you after you've done a lockdown or participated in a paranormal event like that. Things can follow you, and that's why I try to tend to keep, especially like the stuff that happens at work, I try to be like, okay, you know, if something happens, you had your fun, but you're not following me. This ends here. Because I don't want that following me back to my house and messing with Matt, because he's not as comfortable with this stuff as I am, because he hasn't had a whole lot of experiences with the paranormal. I don't think he's had any. But, so that was a pretty terrifying thing. It made me wake up a little bit about paranormal stuff, because it's like I love it and it's fun for me, but that doesn't mean it ends with me. Sometimes that stuff, it attaches to you for a short while, and it can interrupt your life, including the people in your life. So, cautionary tale. If you're dealing with spirits and stuff, make it very clear that they are not to follow you. And I mean, that has worked for me in the past. Alright, thank you guys for watching this Paranormal Monday. I hope you're enjoying these videos. I hope I'm telling them right. I'm not a very good storyteller, but I'm trying to get these paranormal experiences across to you guys. So I love you guys, and I will see you later.